Hello, and we are live to the Mini Me Yoga podcast and YouTube channel. And today I am joined by the amazing Clair-Louise. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, we're all very excited because I'm just going to do a little bit of, an intro. You are a fabulous yoga teacher, number one. I've known you for a long time and you're extraordinary. You're also a Montessori teacher. You're also a mom and generally just love kids and kids love you. So who better to have on the show and help us do a little bit of problem solving? If we are a teacher or a parent and we're looking to bring well-being into the classroom or home using yoga, I think let's do some problem solving each month together. And this month, we thought we might like to ask you, what's kind of your preparation? What's your number one prep of, going into the classroom, going into a class of any kind, and working with children with yoga, mental health techniques, or just generally teaching?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you for that lovely intro, by the way. That was very kind of you. I think probably one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned over the years is that as teachers, I think we have to be really prepared to kind of chuck out all the preparation. I think, we tend to spend a lot of time, especially in the early days, and I certainly can speak for myself. I used to spend hours and hours preparing for classes, and there's definitely no harm in that. You're going to learn a lot from that as well, but more often than not, I had to be willing to just throw all that preparation out the window and accept that when you're working with children, you don't really know what's ahead of you. And I think more often than not, things don't go to plan, and that's the beauty of it. That's actually the beauty of working with children. And we as adults, I think, tend to want to control everything, and we have expectations. I think we very often have expectations that we are very disappointed about when they don't kind of go, when things don't go as we expected. So I think it all starts with us. I think as parents, as teachers, as adults, I think it all starts with us. I think we have to ask ourselves some really important questions, especially if you are going into if you're going in to teach a class, whether it's a yoga class or if you're going into a Montessori classroom or any you might be working with the brownies or the guides. I think you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. First of all, are your expectations realistic? Do you have realistic expectations of what you're going into? And I think sometimes the best expectation is to not have any. Sorry, I've got all the animals here joining me, so lots of guests. That's the first thing, because if your expectations are, out of whack, you're going to end up very disappointed. And I think the children are not going to get the best out of you. So that's the first thing. As we just said a moment ago, are you prepared to say, do you know what, this isn't working? Let's delve into my little bag of creativity here and pull something else out and try that. It's kind of funny to use the word flexibility because obviously we're yoga teachers, but it's true. You have to be really flexible. You've got to be able to, switch it up and when you need to, and kind of put the feelers out. You might go into a class and say, right, this is what I've got planned. But you're going to know within the first few moments whether or not that's going to work for you. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. That's fine. Let it go, get something else. And so I think there's a real lesson to be learned in that ability to just adapt, just adapt to your environment, to your group. And I think as adults, we can adapt, we can do that. We kind of have the ability to be able to say, that's not working, let's change it up. Children are very adaptable, but if you go into a class and you're not engaging your children, it's a lot to ask of them to change. It's a huge expectation to say, I'm going to expect their behavior to change right now to fit in with my class. I just don't think that that's realistic. Whereas I think as teachers, we should say, okay, what am I doing here that is not engaging these kids, to look at ourselves. What am I doing? Am I off with something here? So that we're kind of recognizing what a big part we play in not just delivering a class, but also maybe avoiding some of those problems that we do sometimes come up against.
I love that. And that's my goodness, I think that's something that we can do for everything in life. If something is happening, number one, I always look at myself and go, okay, what am I contributing here? What can I change? How can I adapt, overcome, move the obstacle, whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
I think as a yoga teacher, we definitely have to do that with kids, but great for parents at home and for teachers in the classroom.
Yeah. And like you say, just in life, in your relationships, with your colleagues, at home, whatever it is, I think to always be able to be reflective and take a little step back and say, okay, well, what's my part in this is a great skill to be able to do that. It's really a good thing to be able to do.
Extra empowering, because we can always change ourselves within a moment's, click of the finger. And we've got full authority to do that for ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's great. I love that. Thank you so much. So that kicks us off with the first problem-solving top tip for 2023. And you've very kindly agreed to come in each month and give us a little problem-solving top tip each month. So we'll look forward to that.
Absolutely. And if anyone has any particular issues, if you're dealing with something that, of course, we can always start with ourselves, but we will also be faced with moments in classrooms or in, groups where we are, we're challenged and we're trying to figure out ways to overcome it. And I think if anyone has an issue that is reoccurring or that just happened once and they'd like to know, how to deal with that, maybe there's, loads of children in the class and you're in a really small space, or you have mixed age groups, or whatever the case may be, it would be great to hear from people so we can maybe talk about that and find some solutions.
Yeah, I've had a couple of questions come in, so we will. Yeah, that's a great idea. People are always asking about those types of things, so we can cover those. How do I teach 30 children?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, what do we do when we don't have any props, or when we do have props, or when I'm just thrown in there and unexpectedly, all these things, and these are all realistic situations to be faced with. And I think it's great to be able to share with each other actually how we all deal with these things, because everyone deals with it a bit differently, and you always learn a lot, I think, by kind of sharing that with each other.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we will see you all again soon.
Thanks, Kate. Take care. Chat soon. Bye.